Hello, everybody. So for the past couple episodes, it's just been me and Mason, but we've got two other guests with us right now.
Oh, we are so back.
Nay, not guests, co-hosts. I'm joined by Mr. Jacob White and
back.
Heath Simmons.
I'm back too.
Let's go.
We did. Are we allowed to call it a double feature or?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
It was, back
I mean,
it was like 24 hours.
It was less.
It was a
like
quick
12,
turnaround.
like 12 hours apart.
Yeah. We watched two movies in a short span of time.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk about them. So this first one is going to be Yorgos Lanthimos' Kinds of Kindness.
Yep.
Came out literally today,
Yeah.
so we're going to try to get to
We're
this
early.
to you soon.
Last time we did this, it was for Maestro. We did it like day of.
So
Yeah.
glad we did that.
Yeah.
You
The
can't see
hate
the
for
face.
Maestro will never leave.
His face.
Yeah.
Live,
But yeah, we're
live
here-
Ethan Cam during Maestro.
It'd just be we were talking about the soldier yesterday.
Yeah,
that-
the military.
Yeah.
what's the movie or the book that I'm trying to help listeners with the reference?
That's from. I don't
Yeah.
think it's from. I think
It's a
just,
book.
The soldier.
I think, right?
Oh, is it?
Audio listeners, imagine a military man staring straight
I
for
It's
thought
the
you.
guy
it
with
was
the
just a
helmet that
GIF.
looks like
Yeah, it
shell
was
shock.
like-
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's like
Yeah.
a meme. But
Okay, they
I don't know
probably-
where
Yeah, I
it's
don't
from.
think it's from a. book.
I thought
Like,
it was a book.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might be.
Think
No
of
idea.
think of Greg Heffley's face. That's Ethan watching
Yeah.
Maestro.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Maestro, thankfully. We're here to talk about Yorgos Lanthimos' Kinds of Kindness.
Yeah.
I'm going to kick it off to Jacob because he's
He's the Yorgos head.
he's the Yorgos
Yeah.
head. He's
I've seen most. I haven't seen his first two movies, Dogtooth and Alps, but everything from The Lobster to now I've seen. So he's coming off a bit of a hot streak. If you don't know Yorgos Lanthimos, he sort of came on the scene in 2015 with a movie called The Lobster with Colin Farrell, which was this really deadpan, like, dark drama that dealt with love and was like in a post-apocalyptic society thing. People really liked that movie.
It's a little
and
weird.
It was very weird. People really liked the movie, and I think from there on it kind of took off.
I think weird is a word that's used pretty frequently next to Yorgos' name.
Yeah.
And aptly
Definitely.
so. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's gone on to Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite, Poor Things, which just came out last year, less than a year ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And bit of a darling last year. A lot of people's favorite movie from 2023, including my own.
Oscars buzz.
Had a big Oscar run.
Yeah, did get a lot of Oscars. Emma Stone took home best
Stone did
best
win.
actress, shockingly. And,
that-
Go listen to our reaction.
yeah, go listen
We
to the
did a
reaction.
whole
That was-
podcast on the Oscars if you wanted to hear what we thought about it.
Yeah, and
care.
so kind of out of nowhere, like I feel like around the time the Oscars were happening, he just announced this movie. Like he was like, all right, like my next movie's coming out in June. And we were all. It's not the first time he's actually gone back to back in a year. Killing of a Sacred Deer, 2017. The Favorite, 2018. So he's known to at least work on two movies at once. And
It's crazy.
but the fact that it was, like only 4 or 5 months away was pretty crazy.
I mean,
and
did he shoot them around like the same time?
yeah, I think
Right?
Did he shoot them concurrently
I think-
ever, or was it always like one at a time?
Actually, I think one was I think Kinds of Kindness he shot in 2022, and Poor Things was like 2020, and it got pushed back a bunch because of COVID.
Yeah,
And
that makes
I think
sense.
it had a
Yeah,
big
sounds about
post-production process that he said he wasn't very familiar. It was like unfamiliar territory. With
They had to make the sky look like Cheesecake Factory.
yeah, they had,
Yeah, I
had to
was
make
gonna say,
they took a long time to make Poor Things look like the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, some
and-
CGI
Yeah,
things,
so
which look pretty good, I would say.
yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
Very stylized,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
this movie was hailed as a return to form in a way, sort of a return to his darker and more cynical Dogtooth days. Honestly, I think Poor Things is at times kind of dark and cynical, but I feel like the whole overall vibe and performance of Poor Things is a movie that sort of celebrated life and was very colorful and vibrant. And this movie is not that at all. It's very stagnant, static, and dry. and just
Very dry.
Real, very
Very
dry.
dry.
Very dry. It feels a little alien.
Mason and I leaned over. I picked up the sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just to piggyback really quick.
Yeah.
I was kind of thrown by the cadence of the dialogue, and I like leaned over to Mason pretty early on, and I was like, "This feels like Lynch."
Yeah,
like
very-
how the dialogue is paced and how it's delivered, especially just how flat everything
That's-
is.
It felt
that's-
I will say, like, I know that, like I'm not trying to get into any spoilers here, but for the second one, it makes sense for Emma Stone to like
Be
kind
like
of
that.
be a little
Yeah.
like, but it felt like she was like almost still in her Poor Things like character, almost
A little bit.
like very like kind of stilted, and
right.
you know
Yeah.
the dialogue was kind of choppy, which I think was all intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
but
This movie was
Definitely
was actually
interesting.
written by Yorgos, and the two previous Yorgos movies were written by Tony McNamara.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of his
Interesting.
One of his co-writers.
the
So this is-
Cruella guy.
yeah.
What films has Yorgos written himself?
His first 4, he didn't write The Favorite or Poor Things.
Is that I haven't seen either of those. Is
I think-
that apparent that he didn't write them?
Well, honestly, it still feels Yorgos. I wouldn't have known he didn't write those movies if I like didn't actively look it up. I think that the dialogue in The Favorite and Poor Things feels way more. It just feels more human.
Like alive, yeah.
yeah, it feels
Yeah,
more,
and-
I think
and-
more alive, and I
and-
think there's a bigger emphasis on comedy in those two movies compared to this one.
And
this movie's
this is darker.
this is darker.
You can tell that he's like like it's almost Dogtooth,
yeah, it is.
where it's like he's just like kind of like it seems like he's just like kind of mad,
yeah,
very cynical. You know.
is incredibly cynical. And if for those that don't know, Kinds of Kindness is a triptych fable. So it's 3 stories wrapped all just shy under 3 hours, and they're all stories that deal with manipulation, of some
Control,
manipulation and control, and maybe the extent of abuse someone will do in the name of love.
Yeah.
And
No, they're all about that.
they
really.
all feel pretty different, and I think, well, let's just go ahead and talk about the first short, which is well, it was
We
like
can just go in order.
it was just called RMF.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
RMF,
go one
the
by
death
one,
of
or are we gonna
RMF.
say
Yeah,
our
I-
favorite and our
let's-
least, or are we just
I
gonna
think-
break it up? It doesn't matter to me.
I think it'd be cool to go one by one.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Just start with the first.
Yeah. The first short titled RMF. Jesse Plemons stars the lead, and Willem Dafoe plays this boss, and he like works for this boss, and the boss controls everything about his life from what he can eat, what he needs to literally everything about his life.
Yes.
Like including like when and
Who
when
he
can't-
marries. Yeah.
when he marry and like have sex and stuff. And so
Can he have kids?
Yeah.
and
Can
Jesse
he eat this ingredient?
Uh-huh.
You know,
yeah,
it's like-
and then Jesse Plemons' character sort of hits a wall when he's asked to murder a guy in a vehicular
Fashion.
in a vehicular fashion that's made to look like an accident, and he sort of draws the line there. But
He
then,
does it though. That's the thing.
Whiplash.
Well, he
he tries to.
he tries to do it.
Yeah, he tries to do it, fails, and then the boss tries to do him again. He can't.
He
and
breaks
then
up with him.
He's
the
like,
boss,
I need
the
you
boss
to
dumps him.
drive the car a little bit faster next time.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't
Jesse
think that's
Plemons
possible.
is like,
He's like, the guy's fine with dying. He'll be
Yeah.
cool.
which Mason and I like immediately picked up on this. That was just like straight out of Sexy Beast.
The whole first, like I
Yeah,
will tell you two
it was
this,
crazy.
like if you like the first one, it's very
Oh yeah,
Sexy Beast.
Sexy Beast
Yeah.
is incredible because that I
It-
forget.
It felt very like channeled from that and kind of like morbid
It was just-
ownership from like a superior.
Yeah.
Kind
and
of,
like
weird.
just witnessing the dysfunction of someone who's like you're higher up or an authoritative figure
You're superior.
when you're just sort of like subjected to their like control, and they're obviously either instructing you to do something that's not like morally sound or is just generally destructive, and you're like, I can't do that. And they're like, no,
a
you have
superior-
to. Like,
and
you
a
don't
superior
understand.
being like almost mentally not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not all
Or
there, and it's
well, they're just incapable of hearing or taking no as an answer.
well, yeah,
It's like a
that-
brick wall. Like
Yeah.
it does not.
Well,
reach
this
them.
is like outside of the realm of reality.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah, of course.
It's
But
kind of
go watch Sexy Beast.
Yeah, it's kind of cartoonish, and I'll just say right off the bat before we get into the R2 shorts, I think this is the best. This is the
yeah.
best short film in the movie by far.
I would concur.
I will agree.
Yeah.
This movie's been described as a dark comedy, which some people might sort of debate However, I think that title is definitely granted to the first one. The Jesse Plemons performance in the first
He's good in
one
everything, man.
He's good in the whole movie.
He's not
but-
he's not in the third as much though.
No.
Yeah, he's not in the third as much, but I think in this one is where he truly shines. And it was, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, really. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Some of it was really dark, but I think it was like, it was a push and pull.
It's like there's a lot of it's so ridiculous what he's asked to do, and so it's just funny.
He's just
Yeah.
so absurd.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
It's
yeah,
very
it's
absurd.
like
That's the word I
vulgar,
was
like
looking for,
humor,
yeah.
and like
It's very
dry,
absurdist,
and it's
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
what is going on? That's so crazy that it's really funny.
It was
like,
also we'll
And
probably
that
talk
they
about
act
this.
so nonchalant about
But, like-
their circumstances.
There were maybe 20 people in our theater,
Yeah.
and like
We were
us
the only
four,
ones laughing.
yeah,
I mean,
consistently.
we were getting more laughs at birth.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was very strange because there were some moments of birth where I was like, we shouldn't be laughing here.
No, they were like really hamming it up.
And then
Every
there were
single
moments in
person
here
counts
where
as
we were
laughing.
the only ones laughing. I'm like, do they not?
This is
think
pretty
this
funny.
Is funny?
Yeah. It's really quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
It could be
especially
because
this
we were
first
the
one.
youngest ones in there by far, I believe.
this is
but-
like, well,
We saw a
are we
matinee.
gonna do like plot wise of the first? Because I was gonna say like one of the funniest
Sure,
moments is
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end, but I don't want to like spoil.
Yeah,
it.
no,
No,
go,
I mean-
go ahead. What's up?
Might
Well,
as well.
I just think that when he gets in the car and runs over RMF like
Oh,
3
dude.
times,
yeah,
and he's
I-
just like
yeah,
doing
that-
the donut. I was like, this is like
Yeah, that's so
really really funny.
Yeah, for,
we just sit there and watch him get run over multiple times. It
Yeah.
was hilarious,
Yeah.
and I don't think a single
He
person
just dumped
laughed
him out of
besides
the
us.
yeah,
wheelchair.
yeah, No, it was.
The wheelchair.
Which I remember him dumping the guy out of a wheelchair from the trailer, and I was very curious to see where that would go, and it was the best thing I could have asked
Actually,
for.
do you know what? Jumping straight to the end here. Maybe we'll come back, but like, do you know what the end made me feel like when Jesse Plemons, like, finally, he's like crying and he knocks on the door and Margaret Qualley's character like opens it and he's just like sobbing and gives like her a hug, and then he's just like on the couch next to her and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Do you know what that reminded me of?
What?
Succession, the season finale, after Kendall kills the kids, spoiler alert, and he's like just crying on Logan's shoulder.
Yeah. It did kind of feel
It's
like
like
that.
full circle.
Yeah, no,
I feel
yeah.
like a lot of this.
Yeah.
I was leaning over Ethan like Succession,
Uh-huh.
like almost just like the locations and like the framing and stuff. I don't know. it kinda
I mean,
just made me
Succession's
feel
corporate, and this was like the
like,
relationship.
well, thematic.
The relationship
Yeah.
was also
Yeah,
like,
it was a corporate relationship. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
more than a corporate relationship,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Yeah, and then what is
Certainly in the third one.
what does what Willem say? He's like
It was an extra corporate
he's like, I
relationship.
knew my boy would never disappoint.
Yeah.
He's like, you've done such a great
You're
job.
my number one boy.
And then they just cuddle.
LeBron to Bronny.
Yeah, and then then they cuddle for a little
Three-way
bit,
cuddle,
but
and then it's just
Yeah.
Jesse and Willem.
And then credits.
I was quite frankly.
It was just
I was quite
concise-
frankly.
yeah.
I was quite frankly just like really satisfied with the first one. It's
Very, really
it's
on
every-
a high.
It's
the
every.
highest the movie gets.
Yeah.
For me.
But it's so concise.
It's every.
and
It's
yeah.
everything I wanted out of the movie, and like going into it, I was like, "Oh man, like this is hitting. This is fantastic."
And I was hesitant.
This is fantastic.
I mean, Ethan's never seen it, Yorgos, but
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
hesitant going into this, and like the first one, like just kind of kept hitting, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay.
Would you
we're,
say that-
like good? Or
Storyline, this is the simplest out of the three?
yeah,
Definitely.
Like, just the most straightforward?
I think
I
so.
think so.
You can,
It's
like,
not the second one.
I'd say the second one is straightforward.
I think the
Yeah.
exact opposite.
the third is
Yeah,
pretty convoluted.
third one, yeah.
lot of moving
I feel like-
Second one is
I think the third
pushing
one.
on avant-garde at times.
Yeah.
The third
for
one.
sure.
The third one has the most subtext and most moving pieces. I think
Ye-
that one. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't
if you
say it's the
if you
best.
were to
I
like
would probably.
if you were to
agree
make a
with you.
full length movie out of one of the three, I feel like you would have to do the third one just
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, not because it's the best, but just because there's more
There's
to
a-
dig through there.
Yeah, there
Well,
is.
There's more under the
I think it
surface.
necessitates more, but I think still the first would Ooh.
The first would make a better movie.
No.
But
I'm going to argue that the second would be the best movie. Because I think
I disagree.
you could explore that longer.
I think you could, which is
And there's a lot there
But
to look at.
I think
will
maybe-
say-
The first would make a great
I
movie.
will
think-
say the second one was already kind of long in this, and I felt like it wasn't
didn't feel
concise.
long.
It was. It,
I-
it
no,
felt long to me.
It dragged.
I
It dragged
felt
for
like
me.
it dragged
Yeah.
Quite,
no.
quite a bit.
I'll say this about the second and third one. I feel like I kind of agree with Ethan that you could take the second and third one out and make a full length movie out of it, and I think maybe that is a double edged sword in this movie's case that we may as well just jump straight to the second one. It's, short thing about the first one.
It's really short and sweet.
The first one is kind of short, and it's really funny, really dark, and you can't really say else much about it in this. It's just kind of Yorgos in his bag.
But also, like, Willem Dafoe gets what he wants at the end. Like, he wins.
Yeah.
And,
he does.
Jesse Plemons starts the movie refusing to kill someone, and then in being rejected by Willem Dafoe, and he basically cuts him out of his life.
Like, it's literally a breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he breaks up with him. He takes back his
racket,
all of, like, the trophies and souvenirs that he's gifted him.
Yeah.
And then Emma Stone is basically, like, his new subject.
His rebound.
And he uses, like, all the same tricks. Okay, sorry, I'm dwelling on, like, this first, but I want to talk about, like, the use of comedy. Willem Dafoe gave him, like, a formula on how to seduce people. And like, the first step is hurting yourself.
Pretty funny.
And so, like...
we need to talk about when he tried doing that again.
Yes. Yeah. It's very funny when he, like, has to hurt himself, and then sometimes people just don't care. Yeah. And, like, that is a
that first time that he, like, pretended to hurt himself to that lady might have been the funniest, like, the hardest that we laughed, maybe.
Yeah.
When the lady walks out of the elevator
Still
and he's just screaming on the
people in
ground.
the theater laughed, but...
Yeah, kind of weird.
I mean, it was no one really in the theater was ever laughing.
And so...
they don't play about Yorgos.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons recognizes that, like, Emma Stone is sort of Willem Dafoe's new pupil, and then he's, like, very jealous. Mm-hmm. And so he sees that she tries to basically kill RMF, the guy that he was supposed to kill. And he's in the hospital, and so that's when Willem Dafoe, like, pulls a good time, like, takes him out of the hospital bed. Yeah. Out into the, what do you call that? The
roundabout.
The roundabout driveway. I don't know the...
Driving, I don't know.
Yeah.
The entrance.
The drive-through to the hospital.
Yeah. And he just does a few laps.
And before that, whenever he's just blatantly knocks a dude out and takes his uniform in the room, and the dude just sees him do it, does not care at all. That was really funny.
But you see Jesse Plemons' character break and, like, compromise his morals to win the love of Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the thesis of this first.
And by the end, I don't even think he cared about his wife anymore. Like, he was just like, Willem Dafoe's all I need.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because he realizes how much he needs Willem once he goes. I mean, he starts eating burgers.
One of the biggest lines was that, like, he's at the bar, and he says to himself, I don't even know what I want. He needs someone to tell him what he wants in life. Like, he's so reliant on Willem, just, like...
Because it's been that way his whole
dictating
life
what he does
yes.
and what he eats and what he enjoys, that he can't choose anything for himself.
Yeah, no.
He even makes the dude at the bar, like, give him a suggestion.
Yeah.
He's like, please, whatever you want me to have, I'll do it, you know?
Yeah. He can't choose for himself.
Because the first time he's like, I'll have this, and then he's like, no, you won't. And he, like,
the longer I sit here, I think I'm realizing more just, like, how genius and, like, almost effortlessly perfect the first short.
The first is it's fantastic.
Yeah, it was flowing, and I felt like we were in really good hands.
And I really don't want to, like...
It's not... The rest of the movie's not a letdown, don't get me wrong. I think there's plenty of great stuff after the first one, but it starts off with a bang.
I don't want to, like... I don't want this to put, like, dirt on Yorgos' name, but it felt like I watched 3 episodes of Black Mirror back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Black Mirror.
Okay.
So.
I get that.
I haven't either.
Okay.
But...
Yeah, well, Heath and I will...
Yeah. It's Black Mirror vibes.
yeah. But
especially
it did kind of feel like that kind of off kilter Lynchian style, but it wasn't really it wasn't really Lynch.
No, not quite. I'd say the dialogue is the closest thing.
Yeah,
the cadence of it.
I think the framing of this movie is really interesting because like each movie, I feel like the cinematography has gotten bigger and bigger. Each movie, like if you watch his movies in succession, become like a bigger production. And it was interesting seeing this stripped back. There wasn't, like, The Favorite especially is a very flashy movie. Like, it just kind of feels like he's pulling out all the stops. But
Poor Things does, too.
Yeah, Poor Things.
Kind of, to an extent.
Yeah, and Kinds of Kindness, it feel like the shots, the compositions are really wide, but it feels somewhat claustrophobic. Like, you never leave the wide area. Like, there's no sense of intimacy or... even like you're watching from a distance, you're brought in, but like only to a certain point, and it just you feel like you're in this like awkward area where you're not quite fully in, but also like not that far out enough as an audience member.
I thought it was like the whole thing was shot really well.
Yeah, it was
Robbie.
great.
Right, yeah.
Robbie
Ryan's
Ryan's one of the best working cinematographers.
Great.
He's fantastic. He also has been working with Yorgos since The Favorite, and I feel that they've experimented a lot together.
Yeah.
So I think this one kind of kept doing that, but the first one, fantastic. Yorgos in his bag.
Okay, second one.
The second one is called RMF is Flying. RMF is kind of the guy that, like the
loosely ties
them all together.
Not, I mean,
I couldn't really tell
barely.
you. I couldn't tell you what his significance means.
I don't even think he says a word.
I
he doesn't
don't
say
even
a word in the second or the third.
Yeah.
But he's there, but he doesn't say.
Also, I like to add this, like, as we like try to understand like what means what. But Yorgos has like gone on record saying about his movies that he himself doesn't know what they mean, and that he doesn't make his movies with the intent on things meaning a lot, and that it's like up.
In some ways, again, kind of Lynchian.
Yeah, he's like,
although
he's like,
a little bit.
he's
less.
like something. He's like, my movies mean something to everyone. He's like, because I think it's something, that doesn't mean that's it. It is that for everybody else. So
yeah, I feel like that. Was kind of harming him in the second one.
Yeah, but the second one is
a little bit.
The second one is RMF is Flying. Jesse Plemons plays the main character again. He's a police officer whose wife has gone missing, and when his wife returns, he suspects that she's not actually his wife, and he starts demanding her to harm herself.
Kind of starts like having obsessive delusions. And
Yeah.
Weird stuff starts going on. It gets a little bit avant-garde.
And it kind of has a surprise ending, I'd say. The ending, I was.
What did we think about the entirety of the second?
I thought it was really strong. I liked it. I don't know what it means, but I thought it was good.
I didn't
Get it in the slightest. I thought it was all right.
Did you say the ending or the
no,
second
just
one
the
as
whole
a
thing. Just the whole thing. I thought it was definitely the weakest.
I think
the third's the weakest.
Really?
I don't know.
There was some things in the second.
I don't know. I think I like the second better than the third.
The second one hit me in a mixed bag sort of way. I enjoyed. I think it was really strong around the time when Emma's character comes back and you start to see him spiral, like when he shoots that dude's hand.
He draws it on. He draws it on too long.
Yeah.
I think it was
entirely too long. I feel like it's not concise enough.
Well, I full 100% agree.
I feel like at times he's like almost just like throwing things at a wall and seeing like if they stick.
And I really don't think it stuck the landing. It didn't for me personally.
Well, I mean,
like the police thing, the
where he shot
through the hand. Yeah, I was like, I don't really understand the importance
it was
of this.
trying to make his like I understood it as like why it was long is because he's trying to like sell his decline because it's either that or it's like just a light switch, and I feel like that would even like be less believable if he just one day like.
But I feel like I didn't get that progression, and it was still long. Like
I don't know. I
just wasn't feeling that personally.
I think you want to draw it out to feel like you earned getting to the point where he wants to.
Of course, yeah.
But there's a lot where it feels like
it's definitely the slowest.
It's the slowest for sure, and I think honestly, some things could have picked up the pace. Like, so in the short, his wife comes back and he suspects that she's not actually her, and to prove that she's not, and to prove like her love for him, Jesse Plemons says, hey, like I'm hungry, cook me a meal, and while you're cooking it, cut your thumb off.
Well, first of all, we should preface that like when she gets back, he doesn't eat for like a week. Yeah,
and so the first thing even before that, we should preface the well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
just, wait, what are you gonna preface?
Well, just like the fact that like they're sitting at the table and she's not there, and he's like, I want to watch a video and stuff.
Just a minute, please.
And you're like, yeah, I know what this is, but
I think that was more comedic than anything.
I just don't really understand why that's there.
It felt kind of out of place for that one because that was the only real funny thing in that one. I was like,
Yorgos, what are we doing?
I guess it just establishes that they have like a different
Weird
type of friendship,
dynamic.
between the four.
Yeah, like I don't know if we needed to see it all because they talk about it later. You know.
Yeah.
Especially
it felt kind of aimless.
especially when
me, but
I agree that probably didn't need to be there.
Not that I'm complaining that it was there.
Especially when especially when the fact that the third one is all about sex.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't know. I disagree with you saying that the third has the most subtext to be explored, because I think that the second might have the most like material to
Like in what way?
sort of sink your teeth into. Well,
I think keep going, sorry.
I don't know, because I'm struggling to sort of latch on to what exactly he's looking for us to like take away as an audience. But if I had to guess, it would be about how we deal with grief. And then I don't know.
I wouldn't even really say that. Like
I would say it's more.
There's the whole psychiatrist. There's the whole psychiatrist character who like knows like that he's the one acting erratic, and they everybody just kind of brushes off Jesse Plemons' behavior in it.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's another unhealthy dynamic, much like the first one, but this time it's in a way to where like people only would believe Jesse Plemons' character, and she's totally bought in that everything she's done is for love.
I'm gonna retract what I said from the record. If I'm gonna make another thesis, I think it's about someone in an abusive relationship showing the lengths they will go to try to reach that
make
person,
things good.
regardless.
And I feel like all three are like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean,
because that's basically.
I think that's kind of the through line of what he's saying.
I mean, Jesse Plemons is like having a mental episode, and like he clearly is not of sound mind, and he's asking like these crazy things of Emma Stone to like cut off her finger, to like prove his love, and he doesn't like. He's already made up his mind that he doesn't love her. He's just doing it so that she will like destroy herself.
I also think that her monologue to Willem Dafoe, her father, like by the truck, was
weird.
Yeah.
There's.
I don't understand.
There's
why
another.
That was there. I don't
No idea
understand
what
the
I was
dream
supposed to
about
take
the
away.
dogs.
There's another thing that ties. There was a dream in the first one.
There's dream in all three, and in each of the three, they say something along the lines of, "But that's not important." Like about the dream. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
They're like blah 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 blah. But that's
for some
not
reason.
important.
For some reason, I'm having trouble with Jesse Plemons' dream.
In the first one
was.
I don't know what it was. What was
He has a dream where he's like eating the cheeseburger, and like talking to Willem Dafoe.
Oh,
and
in black
he
and
actually
white.
does it.
Yeah.
So when it was in black and white, that was
Yeah.
a dream. That makes
We
sense.
also get the like the species on the tree, like black and white stuff in the first one too, which was like
Oh yeah, the stuff about palm trees.
Yeah, the beetle.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
You have to sell them on the black market now because of invasive beetles.
But yeah,
so
I
interesting.
I think that was more comedic. than
yes,
anything.
yeah. But I feel like in the second, he like I don't know. I just felt like him losing control of it a little bit, and it becomes a little bit aimless at times.
Well, I think the conversation with Emma Stone's father, who's Willem Dafoe, played by Willem Dafoe, is showing like, especially in a romantic relationship, like with an abusive partner, it can sort of like poison your view of your family.
Yeah, of course,
or your extended family, I guess, or immediate family, because like the relationship, the dynamics within that shifts how you prioritize like other relationships.
Yes.
And like often, that partner can speak poorly of your immediate family and sour your thoughts.
I just thought it was weird the way that she delivered it, which it's a Yorgos movie, so I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But it like the way that she delivered it, the way that it was written, and the breaks between the lines and stuff. I was like, what is going on?
I think the important thing is that Willem Dafoe sort of recognizes that like there's something off about Jesse Plemons' character that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
And like, of course, he cares about Emma Stone a lot, like because he's her father, and she's not willing to receive that. And then at the end, we see what happens. So,
what do we think about the ending?
I kind of liked it.
yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit.
I don't know if I
undecided.
got
Not
it,
really
like-
either way. I don't really.
I can't-
I
I
don't
know
feel that
about-
strong.
I can't say I got it, but I was just
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm like
I was like,
yeah,
cool.
he nailed it. But I don't think
no.
it's bad. I don't know.
I thought it was really interesting. It was.
Yeah.
He
Interesting is a
definitely
good
went
word.
for it. Yeah.
Listener, how it ends is, she cuts off the thumb, and then he's like, your thumb was repulsive. He's like, make dinner again, but this time cut out your liver. And then, like, the one comedic part in this, the second one, he's like, the liver is very nutritious. He's like, got a lot of iron. He's like, I need it. So she cuts the liver out, and she's laying in her chair. She's dead in the living room, and then there's a knock at the door, and then his wife.
Thank goodness we didn't have to watch her take out her liver,
Felt like almost. I don't know
we
why,
do
but
watch.
that felt
We
like
do watch her thumb get cut off.
which is difficult.
for some
Was not a
reason
fan
that
of
felt like Truman Show when she knocks on the door and
Yeah.
she's like there. I was like,
Yeah, well,
it's very kind of dream world esque.
I think it might like
Which this ties everything in with the dream, and like RMF, like the actual guys, they're like.
Yeah, and the film kicking off with Sweetest Dreams and
But
Yeah.
I guess like the thing that I would have to assume with Emma Stone's character dying and like her original self knocking at the door, I think that's like describing how like Jesse Plemons has successfully brainwashed his partner and like changed her irreparably.
yeah.
To where now he's getting like everything he
Yeah,
wants.
to where like he has control over her and like her
Yeah, that
her
could be.
agency and independence
Yeah.
is like gone.
I could
Could
see
be.
that.
That's another through line is like control.
Yeah,
supremacy.
Yeah,
That's what the first one's about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
certainly what the third one's about.
Yeah,
Two
it's
things-
about power and domination and
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
things I want to add about the second one.
Yeah.
Like I
Raise your head.
I liked it. I liked it okay. Like I didn't dislike the second one at all. It hit me in a mixed bag sort of way.
Yeah.
I think there were a few really strong moments, especially towards the end. But what I didn't like was, that thing what I was saying earlier, where it's like the way it's shot and the way everything's delivered. You're kept at a distance, but you're not too far away. It's like this weird middle ground to where you're just like this awkward observer.
Yeah.
And in the second one, there's a lot of moments, specifically in the house, where I think of that one scene where he like walks downstairs. It's like right before he asks her to cut off the thumb. But I swear it's like 2 minutes. He just like lumbers downstairs, turns the corner, stares at her, and I'm just kind of like I feel like he's already earned my trust to be able to just go off the rails instantly. It's like, dude, you don't really have to wait and build it up. Just go in.
I thought that there were some long takes that weren't necessary, and I feel like the pacing in the second
And even like
wasn't nearly as good.
the scene at dinner kind of felt like that too.
Wait,
The first dinner?
what scene?
The second dinner.
Second dinner.
Yeah.
I
when
don't
she
know.
came back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't know how to describe it other than like I just found myself really enjoying it, and I think the metaphor of cutting off parts of yourself or like harming yourself or even
Killing
like,
yourself.
Yeah,
killing
I mean,
yourself for
yeah.
another person is a really interesting way to depict an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I think it
I
was
can
really
see that.
effective. And there was some cool risks that were taken. Sure, it might have been a little slow, but I thought it was like interesting and I don't know. I liked it. I certainly wouldn't call it my least favorite chapter.
So you're going with the third?
Yeah.
Now,
Also, I
We
want
can
to say
segue
one
into
thing.
Third, maybe. I don't know.
The thing that I appreciate about Kinds of Kindness in general is there's sort of like a live theater feel to it. Like if you're watching like a straight play, not like a musical, but how
there's
the
that
same
air. There's that air.
the same actor can play multiple characters and
Yeah.
and it's just like
And I feel like you're probably getting that because I feel like the whole movie is like a little bit. Like,
Yeah, it's
you have
about
that
the artist-
unpredictability and like you're like anything could happen in the next 10 seconds.
it's also really showcasing like the artistry within acting. So I think it's a very like
yeah.
it's
true depiction of I guess just
Well, that's why everyone's
how
like
acting
every
is, yeah.
single person in this film is amazing. Well, that's because it's just showcasing acting the entire movie.
yeah, and so
like
the,
it's just really all around the actors.
all of the actors in this they perform 3 different roles. It's a wide set of emotions and people that they have to depict, and
Yeah.
it's probably like very demanding and challenging, and that's why they enjoy it. And so I just thought that was really neat that like it offers a unique opportunity to them that
I
they
wonder-
probably don't get for every movie.
Yeah.
One thing that happens in the second movie, Emma Stone's character, she went out on a boat with people, and the boat got stranded, but one other person survived. And there's a scene where Jesse Plemons goes to see the guy in the hospital, and then he's faking it too. Like he's also not the guy, and then they just like don't explore him at all later.
I don't even think we see him again after that.
We don't even see him again after that. I just thought that was kind of strange.
I really like the scene when he was like, his shoes aren't real. Check his shoes.
I think
also,
that was.
I don't understand like the kind of sexual like subtext of the second one at all.
That was sort of what I was missing.
When he like, she's like, all I could think about was like you and stuff, and then like she's like, put on your uniform, and like she hits him and stuff. Like that just felt like it didn't need to be there because it wasn't further explored. Like it doesn't seem important to her character and the grief that she like associates with him.
I guess just like
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure it definitely does. Maybe it was just Yorgos showing like how intimacy in the relationship sort of died.
Could be.
Yeah, or it could just be like just a comedic bit.
It could be.
almost,
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But see, there's so much to talk about with the second one that I think you can't entirely write it off as just bad. I think it's very thought provoking. And there's a lot of
not writing off at all. I'd say I lean towards liking it, but I feel like I agree with Ethan and
I think it's probably the most interesting.
And Ethan Mason.
You think it's
chapter.
the most interesting?
Yes.
Okay.
For
See,
sure.
I'm just not there. I'm just not there.
The first is
I was
definitely
just
the
bored.
best execution wise, but I think the second's the most interesting for sure. The third, and if we're ready to get to the third,
I
don't know about it. Honestly, I thought it was doing
I don't
too
know
much.
How I feel about the third either.
I thought the third was entirely too long.
The third is too long. Yes. The second
Hard
and
disagree.
the third are too long.
The third is
for me.
convoluted and too long.
Wait, Jacob, what do you
I
think?
love the third.
I also
Okay,
love the third.
okay.
It's like right below the first for me.
Yeah.
I was really invested the entire time.
Yeah, same.
I don't know.
I think that honestly could be a problem, that the fact that when the third one starts, we're like probably 2 hours into the movie.
Yeah. In a vacuum,
I
feel like you might view it completely
I feel
differently.
like-
I don't know if the anthology almost type thing like just works for like the kinds of kindness film overall.
It definitely didn't benefit the third one.
I'm just saying.
In some ways it works, and in some ways it's very interesting, and I like that it's different.
Do you think that he ever had the idea to have these as 3 separate features, and then he just
had
chose?
to have
Probably.
definitely.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I wonder how
The
far
only
he
thing-
got into them.
The only thing I know about he said he's had the script written for like a decade
That's crazy.
for Kinds of Kindness.
That
He wanted to do like a triptych for a while.
I mean, it's a huge swing, and I applaud it. You know,
Yeah.
it's.
I like that
yeah.
he's
But
doing
I'm
something different.
I'm saying like, because I definitely felt like some exhaustion by the time the third one started. But if you asked me what needed to be cut from the third one, I like couldn't tell you. I couldn't even say it was paced.
Well, see,
I know
the
I couldn't.
third,
I
feel
couldn't
like
say
the
it
third,
was.
there's just so much to talk
It's
about.
too much.
Like
Well,
there is so much going on.
Well, I'm just saying like I don't. There's nothing I would cut, and I wouldn't even say it's paced poorly. But I just feel like that it could be. He could have shot the third one in the foot just by the fact that it's the last one.
Yeah, no,
and that it's
that
probably
makes- that makes
if he was to
sense.
reorder them,
yeah.
well then, but the
Well,
whole
I also-
resurrection thing with RMF, you don't get that.
Yeah,
so.
no, I think it should have been the final one. I'm just saying, like, there's definitely some exhaustion by the time you're like rolling with the third one.
yes,
Sure.
definitely.
Was it the longest one?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't know the splits. I would be interested. to
It
see
felt the
splits.
longest, but in a good way to me. I was just so invested the entire way.
Yeah, talk about the third one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt
This
like
one's called RMF Eats a Sandwich.
this might be a crazy
And he
take,
does,
but
he
it felt
does.
like kind of like Coen Brothers type of story to me, with like the twins
Yeah,
that
I
they're
could see
trying
it.
to discover, and I eat that up. It was just a really unique, off the wall type of story, and I just loved exploring that cult. There were some interesting parts of the cult. I wasn't a fan of all of it, like the weird assigned sex and all that. But,
Yeah.
And then like
when they're
making
out and
them
about
go to the
hunting down
sauna
the people.
and then like licking them and be like, yep, he's clean.
It's very. I
was
mean,
interesting.
I'm sure you all felt this, but it was very Midsommar to me.
Yeah.
It felt very Ari Aster coded, where he's like exploring cults, and that's kind of a gateway to get really weird and kind of do some off the wall stuff.
I think what's really tragic about the third one is like it's like the sort of synopsis of the third one is like Emma Stone's character is like trying to get out of an abusive relationship with her husband, joins this cult where she's also not being treated. Joins this cult where she's also not being treated well, and it was like really tragic in the best way possible.
I feel like there's like that's why I think the second is the weakest, because I'm still a little bit out on the third, but I think it has the most like humanistic.
I don't know. This might not seem like fair, but I was just very bored by Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone's relationship, and we spent too much time on it, and it just wasn't interesting.
Well,
to me.
I agree with that. I think if
like,
we're gonna cut,
it was so dry.
if we're gonna cut like a lot of the beginning stuff when they're like trying
It
to
was just so
find-
slow. I think we could have gotten to Emma Stone's ex-husband a lot faster.
There wasn't enough Joe Alwyn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the stuff in the hotel, but I liked the like weird resurrection stuff going on.
That was neat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like it still doesn't. Well, I understand. Like,
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I wasn't sure what the purpose of like getting her, like Margaret Qualley's character, even though she plays two, like to the cult at the end. But I mean, until the end, it makes sense. But I don't know. I felt like the point could have been driven home without like that addition of the plot. Even though I like it, they just feel too far apart. It feels like it should be two separate ideas. Like I was struggling to see the connectivity.
I can't really find much information, but I do think I did see a few people on Reddit say apparently the third one is the longest.
Yeah, I could feel it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I felt it in a good way.
Even like, but
Yeah.
like the fact that she was with him and like they had like almost like a business relationship and how
Because you think they're married.
yeah.
I did.
Well, they say they're married.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, okay.
But
they're married.
he
They're
was
just
like
like,
they're
like
working together at the
coworkers.
hospital. And
it's a-
like,
They sleep in
a-
separate beds though.
it's
Yeah.
an awkward like relationship.
a
but
business trip.
I didn't realize like till near the middle that he was basically like overseeing her action of trying to find someone who will resurrect a person.
Yeah.
So and you know
I think that Margaret Qualley's amazing.
She's
did-
fantastic.
Absolutely.
She's
I
so
mean,
good in
that's-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on her train. For
the
a while.
pool.
Nice guys.
I thought the pool was interesting with her twin.
Yeah.
I
don't
really
know,
liked it.
and we didn't like.
I
We didn't come back to like the sister doing it again, like jumping into the pool.
Well, I think
Again.
that was because one of the requirements for her to be the like Messiah or
Yeah,
whatever was
she
for her
had
sister
to-
to be dead. So
Oh,
she like
yeah,
that was
I
her
didn't-
killing
That's
herself.
why she.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
okay.
just like killed herself
Yeah.
basically.
But also
Yeah, at
And
first
she
I thought
was
she was going to
dead.
come back. That was going to be her way to get her to come back and revive her sister. But
Yeah,
I guess
no, she
I guess
had
not.
to be dead.
But,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you could just do it at will. I was
But
like,
I
why'd she-
feel.
well, I mean,
feel like
she
some
could
of
do
the-
it at will, but I think like the cult people were saying in the prophecy, the sister of the person had to be dead. So I think she like really wanted her sister to be that Messiah. I guess.
I feel like some of the things in the third were. I don't want to be like rude or anything, but I feel like it almost got into like just like shock value stuff.
Yeah.
And some of it was not earned.
yeah,
Like what?
the ending.
then no.
The yeah. Are you talking about the car crash? Or are you talking about?
yeah. I mean, we all knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Maybe that a little bit. And
I loved the car
I loved
crash.
the ending.
I absolutely loved that.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know.
It obviously had like from a metaphor standpoint, it's important. Like,
Yeah, I could kind of see it coming. Yeah.
but
I could,
yeah, it was.
yeah.
I mean,
What did you think wasn't earned? The
So
car
there wasn't
crash
a
or like
surprise.
that scene that I don't know if we can say on Spotify without getting in trouble.
Wait.
Like the-
The couch.
Oh.
when the husband
okay.
has his way.
No,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm talking about at
No.
all. No.
I mean-
well, that could have been more developed, I think, because we like barely meet him,
Yeah.
and then it's like
No, he seems like really nice.
At
I mean,
first.
which is
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
is important.
Yes,
obviously,
that's-
yeah.
that's
It's
the
like
point,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Well, I
yeah.
feel actually I felt like the whole time like they were talking to each other, like even just like the way they interacted,
It's a little off.
something was off.
Yeah.
Yes, I could kind of see that too.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I didn't
no,
realize that
wasn't-
she was scared of him. I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I
I
didn't-
thought
I'm
she
not
was
saying
avoiding
that-
him.
yeah,
I knew something was
wasn't
off,
saying-
but not
I'm
that.
not saying that was like shock value. or
Yeah, I was just
anything,
curious like what part you thought wasn't
But
earned.
I guess like just. I mean, yeah, mainly the pool stuff and some of the flashbacks and stuff. It was like just like it seemed like a lot of like dying and gore and stuff. I don't know.
Like seeing Margaret Qualley fall into the pool the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Margaret Qualley when Emma Stone like tranquilizes her. You get like the Christ thing as the
She's
the
rising.
bed
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
There's a pretty on the nose allegory.
Yeah. No, but I mean that was I
Yeah.
liked that.
One
That was fine.
like the whole the scene with the husband and where he like drugs her drink and then like has his way and then the cult picks her up. I don't know. I was actually like kind of blown away by that part. Like just like how the cult treated her after the fact that they like watched and like hovered her over this whole situation.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
agree.
they
agree,
like disowned her. Yeah,
I
that's the
agree.
most.
I think that was like well done.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the most like interesting part.
But
of
it was like relating that to the cult, and did the cult have that?
It's-
Like it just felt like almost too much was going on. I feel like the like Joe Allen stuff, like with Emma Stone and the husband and stuff, and like the like drugging the drink and stuff, that
could have
could
been
have
enough.
almost
Yeah.
been its own thing. And then the cult could have been its own thing.
I feel like
almost, too. Maybe.
so many like in the 21st century, we've seen so many different mediums of like entertainment tackle like cults and stuff.
Yeah, see,
whether
that's
that be
what I was gonna say.
documentaries
Yeah.
or like
I thought the husband
horror,
stuff was very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
The cult stuff, I don't know. Like
I don't know. I just like the cult is a lot, and you do spend a lot of time with them, but I think the cult itself was interesting enough.
It was interesting. It was my least favorite part of the third one, but it was interesting.
Yeah, but I feel like the whole idea of like she's like trying to escape this relationship, and she's completely bought into something that treats her treats her just as bad.
I think
Just like that whole that whole idea was really cool.
And I can see Yorgos kind of reiterating the cult thing because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's news stories that break almost like every year
Yeah.
that it's like something else has happened. So
Yeah.
it's like even between Midsummer and this, there's been stuff that has happened that he probably wants to like.
Talk about
Yeah.
well even
Yeah. So
I
can see.
I
why
don't
he's
know if
doing
it's
that.
so much like
modern day.
trying to
commentary.
tie to like an exact happening
Maybe not
of,
an
of the
exact
current day,
happening,
but
but,
I was
you know.
I was thinking that like it at the end of the day, it's showing that people in abusive relationships don't know what healthy loves look like, and so when they're able to get out of an abusive relationship, like they will probably end up latching onto another person who abuses them because they don't know.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who to run to.
Yeah.
Emily does.
Well,
Emma
and
Stone's
she doesn't
character.
know what love is supposed to look like.
Well,
so
yeah, of
that
course,
just
yeah.
that's right. That's the status quo is abuse.
I'm having a moment I'd had with when we were talking about the first one where it's like I already loved the first one.
Yeah.
When we talk about it, I'm loving it more.
Yeah.
The third one, like the more we talk about it, I'm like, ooh, like it just
Yeah.
it's
So,
just,
yeah,
it's getting better for
I just
me.
would have loved a whole movie on just this third one.
I
more
think
than any of them.
I think the
It's
cult's just a vehicle like to show another avenue of abuse. It's not super.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously it's like anti-cult,
It's like
but
kind of there, but I don't know. Like
it's still like just one form of abuse.
also,
or
this
another.
is just immediate reactions.
Yeah,
I mean, we have
yeah.
not like.
And also, this is just a big movie.
It
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
is.
It's too long.
It's kind of a behemoth.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's definitely a little long for me.
And listen, I'll be the first to say that like when I shoot for the hip, I'm often wrong. Like, and my opinion will change.
Sometimes things got sit with you for a while.
yeah, and
Yeah. No, of course,
I will
but-
say I felt the length. Never once was bored. Other than the second one where there, I thought you speed
I
up.
think after the
I
first,
never-
there were times throughout both. Where
I would say that there was never a time where I like wanted to be done. Really,
I'll agree.
I was with it the whole way.
I was a little bored the second one, but the other two just had me.
Yeah,
I don't think the third sticks the landing particularly. I mean, I know that like.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
I don't know.
If you're talking from a narrative standpoint, like all of the
I'm still trying to make sense of the whole like second half of the
and
third one.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of it within Yorgos'
I don't know if it-
filmography
Stuck, but I just love it either way.
yeah.
yeah,
and where I would kind of like rank it because
the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
It
better.
just
This
feels
is
li-
better than The Lobster, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say
I don't.
it's definitely
I'm
probably some of the best work I've seen from him, but
I'm no expert, but I think this is better than The Lobster. But
yeah, I do too.
but
Probably.
Poor Things, Favor, and Sacred Deer are better than Kinds of Kindness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would probably say Poor Things.
I've only seen this in Poor Things, and I did like Poor Things better.
Yeah,
Maybe
Just a little.
but
yeah.
they're also just like I think.
But he
yeah, comparing
a lot of this
comparing
is like
kindness,
him hitting like the best that he has for me.
Yeah, no, there was
Yeah.
especially with the first one, he was like in his bag, like
Yeah.
I've never seen.
No, the
honestly.
first is definitely the strongest. Like
Yeah.
thinking about it from the beginning, yeah, it's great.
But also, it's kind of I've loved his like progression as
Mm-hmm.
a director because kindness is nothing like his work for the past like half decade.
Yeah.
People
I will say
people are comparing this to Sacred Deer, and
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
and I
yeah.
think the biggest like thing to draw from Sacred Deer is like Sacred Deer has this bit of a supernatural element to it. Things are really dark and comical, and like things are happening that aren't real, but you just kind of have to roll with it.
Yes, yeah.
And I think
like Birth.
Yeah, and I think
in some ways,
I think Sacred Deer leans way more into that,
like non-realism
and like non-realism, because
yeah.
there's some really supernatural stuff that happens in Sacred Deer, and
I've
also
seen...
Sacred Deer, in my opinion, is a straight up thriller.
Yeah,
and I don't think he hasn't really made a thriller since then, and that is like probably my second favorite movie of his.
I've seen some people say that it's kind of reiterative, like, of his own films. Like, he's kind of just doing the same thing over and over again.
We've been seeing a lot of movies lately of directors reflecting on their filmographies, so it's entirely possible.
So, I can kind of see that, and I was like, I almost like want him to just break out and like stop working with like the same people over and over again in some ways.
Yeah. You know what,
but
I think he needs?
That could be because I've watched Dogtooth too, and this is kind of in conversation with Dogtooth. I think it's deeply cynical.
I think a good avenue for Yorgos to sort of break the mold is if Pixar let him make an R-rated movie.
Yeah. I think
R-rated animated film.
Guys, if he worked with Marvel, he could finally get his big break.
Yeah.
Captain America 5, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
This is just me like fanboying, but I want him to work with Tony McNamara more. I think that they really work well together.
I actually agree.
I think you should direct Toy Story 5.
Yeah. I want to add this about the movie. Whoever scouted the location, I'm assuming it was him. He did a great job for picking New Orleans. I think like the whole like New Orleans area for the movie, it looked beautiful.
Yeah,
like the whole movie did, and it felt, I don't know, just I feel like
it was charming.
It felt kind of unique.
It did. It felt very unique.
Mm-hmm. It did.
And I leaned over to Ethan because there was like a bridge. There's a really long bridge that I vividly remember driving across in New Orleans, and I was like, leaned over, like, I've been on that bridge.
Nice. That's always a great feeling.
That was
you're like, I've been there in a movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was during the cold one. You can see the bridge in the background. Because the house was like on that lake.
Yeah.
And I've been on that bridge. So yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
I want to add this about the third one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really understand. This was like kind of where I think you could probably cut a little bit off, but the whole thing with the boat. Remember when they go out to the boat?
Yeah.
And they spend some time out there, and then they
just
like...
Yeah. I don't... I was like narratively, I never really understood.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
That's where they were going to keep Margaret.
That's where they were going to keep her.
Yeah.
But I
guess it's just like cult things.
It was just... I don't know. I feel like we were on the boat for a while.
Really?
Or just
I don't think we were in there that long.
It didn't feel that long to me, but maybe a little long.
But I absolutely love the third one, and I think it's easily second. Feeling mixed bag on the third, but
yeah.
So you're going
disagree.
1, 3, 2.
1, 3, 2 is my.
I think
I'm going chalk on this one.
I would probably go 1, 3, 2 as well.
Are you going 1, 3, 2?
I think I'm going 1, 3, 2, but honestly, on rewatch, I could go 3, 1, 2.
Ethan, you sounds like you're 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
See, I don't like, but to me, it's like 1 and then the other 2.
But of
like
the most,
one is
execution. But I still think the second's the most interesting.
This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Not to me, but
if I gave like a ranking to each one, I would give the first one a 10 out of 10. I'd give.
I mean, it's up there.
I'd give the first.
I'd
give the first one a 10 out of 10. I'd give the second one strong 8.
Yeah,
strong 8.
Oh, okay.
Strong 8,
See, that's
9.
higher than I thought you were gonna go. Because I'm thinking like.
No.
I'm going.
No. I meant like my personal second.
Yeah.
I'm going 6 on the second one, honestly.
No. On the second one, I should have clarified. I was going like my personal order.
Oh, okay.
But like the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll
okay, wait. Restart.
Yeah. First one, I'm giving a 10. Second one, I'd give like a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the third one, I'd probably give like strong 8, light 9.
Okay.
Right.
See,
Heath?
that's what I was thinking.
Heath?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much the same. I'm going 10 on the first one, 6, honestly maybe a 5 on the second. It just was not for me. And then I think strong 9 on the third.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would go 9.5, and then probably a 5, and then 7.
I would go
Ish, maybe.
which 9.5 on the first one. I'd go a light 8 on the second one, and then a 7 for the third one.
Like me saying that out loud, it's like so like how do you rate this movie?
Yeah, I don't know.
To me, like
actually,
how do I
don't
give
know.
this a star rating? Doesn't really make sense because
Yeah.
it's basically 3 movies.
Yeah.
Which I knew going in it would be tough because it's like 3 movies.
Yeah.
But it's like it's wildly different.
And also not the same amount of time is spent on each portion,
No.
so it's not like
it's not equally. Yeah.
I want to see if somebody's asked him about like the whole thing with RMF because RMF
it
ties itself back in at the end because the body they resurrect at the end.
Also, apparently he said,
is it an acronym? Like,
well, apparently he said in an interview like the mid credits scene is like kind of important.
The mid credit scene,
which I guess like represents blood
because he shoots ketchup on himself,
that,
and then it's like blood like covering RMF.
Yeah.
Is RMF supposed to be the same person in all of them? Like, is the body that gets resurrected the same RMF that got ran over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that we can assume that. Yes.
But then he goes to the morgue, and then he's at the morgue. Yeah. So
I mean, I guess there's no confirmation.
But he's not really.
The second one is the same as the first and the third, because in the second one he's just in a helicopter. We never really see him.
Oh yeah, he is in the helicopter. Yeah.
So
I actually thought they kind of looked like Yorgos in that one.
Yeah,
I thought he was like.
Yeah. I was like, that's Yorgos.
Yeah, it's like
he's doing his fuck.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's,
that was interesting.
That's about all I got.
Like the whole thing with the dreams, I don't like, bro. What?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely more to explore.
Then there's the second one ended with dogs. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
that was funny. That was really funny.
It was very funny. I freaking hate dogs. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Amazon will make you hate dogs.
In 20 years, people will be like, "Oh, the second one's genius." So just, I'll go ahead and assume my credit now.
Actually,
and then you can.
I will say this about some of Yorgos' movies.
Yeah.
I feel like they pick up steam over time. I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like some of them will get like. I feel like The Lobster. Maybe in 15 years, people will be like, maybe that was a masterpiece.
And I still think that there's.
Well, I feel like in the case of Sacred, I feel like when Sacred Deer and Favorite came out, people were just kind of like on them. But like I feel like in the years that have gone on since, people are like, oh, those are both amazing.
Although The Favorite had a ton of Oscars buzz.
Oh,
I remember watching the Oscars that year, and I was like, what is this movie?
Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing. I was like, what is this movie? I've never heard of it. I think that's.
I was like, this isn't MCU.
Yeah. I think that's his tamest movie that I've seen.
Yeah.
The Favorite, for sure.
Yeah. Go watch Dogtooth, people.
Yeah. Go watch Murmur of the Heart.
Actually,
go watch some Slavoj Zizek.
Of the Heart. I say go
watch Zizek clips on YouTube.
No.
I would say this is why Lanthimos is one of my favorite directors working today because, I was decent. I think The Lobster's like decent.
Yeah.
But I would say I loved Kinds of Kindness, and I would say I love the other three I've seen. I really think he's fantastic.
I would, I'm glad that we went and watched it.
Yeah, this one's got me really wanting to rewatch, and Poor Things didn't leave me with that.
I don't think I ever want to rewatch this one. I don't know if
I don't know. I was thinking during the middle. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be itching to like rewatch.
I might do the second one at 1.5 speed.
But that's kind of all his movies for me. Other than maybe Poor Things. But like, I'm not gonna sit down and rewatch Dogtooth or The Lobster. It's just a little like.
And I love Killing of Sacred Deer. It's gonna take a minute for me to like be able to rewatch that again.
Yeah.
I will say
any of his films.
You could, like. I don't know how they would do this on streaming, but I assume like if it was DVD, it'd be broken up into chapters. You could just watch one if you wanted to like spend 50 minutes watching one of them.
Even on streaming, you could just watch one and then end it.
So I mean that's a definite. Plus
I could honestly
to it,
find myself showing people the first one. And then like not watching the rest.
I feel like it might live like in 10 years. People might be like, oh yeah, the first part.
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, the third part.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's also
like people will break.
The second part is my favorite.
People. That's kind of how people. I mean, this is more of a chapter movie, but like speaking of Coen Brothers, Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
They had.
I haven't seen that, but yeah.
Am I the only one that's seen The Scrug?
Yeah.
I'm one of that movie's biggest defenders. I think that most of the short films in Scruggs are at least good, and people love breaking down. I think when people talk about Buster Scruggs and they say they like something, you have to clarify like which one you're talking about.
Yes,
because they're all those are like more wildly different than something like this because
different actors and stuff. Yeah.
You were asking if he thought about making some of them separate movies. I think someone asked him that on the Cannes panel, and he said yes, but that like he said to him, the three stories have too much narrative cohesion to where he like didn't want to break it up. But he did.
Maybe not narrative cohesion, but not thematic cohesion. I can see that.
I think that's what I meant.
If thematic cohesion means RMF, no.
He said they had too much similarity and too much like in common to where he didn't want to break them up.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. No, that actually makes sense to me. Yes.
Yeah, because
I think that's probably a good decision in the long run.
Yeah, if all three of these came out separately, we'd get kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
Well, that.
The Abuse trilogy.
So he's saying
kind of like the Death
which
trilogy.
leads me into like my closing thoughts is like I'm really curious to see what he does next.
Yeah.
Like,
His
But I do
next
think-
movie is coming out next year. He's got a movie.
bro,
can't
it's
stop.
like hanging him
He's
out.
not
My
sleeping.
gosh.
The next movie is called
Anti-Glazer.
the next
Yorgos, you're getting free publicity right here from Jacob Way.
Here we go.
the next movie is called Begonia. It's
Yeah.
also starring Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, and
Run it back.
it's being written by one of the main writers of Succession, and the guy who wrote. He also wrote The Menu.
Oh man,
That's the only movie he's written.
I think I
But-
know what you're talking about.
But it's I think it's,
Succession. I'm in.
I think it's based off a book, and it's about
Okay.
these like conspiracy theory guys who kidnap they kidnap a pharmacy CEO thinking that she's an alien trying
Big
to destroy
Pharma.
the world.
Ooh.
That sounds great. Actually,
That sounds like my type
Yeah.
of Coen Brothers
Yeah.
type
No
of story.
facts.
But
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
but it's I do like that. I don't
Cut
remember
the
which
tape.
which writer it is, but someone from Succession is the writer
Yeah.
for his next movie. So
Adam McKay. No.
Looking forward to that.
that would be Kurt Nightmare Blunt Rotation.
What? Yeah. What?
Yorgos and
What,
Adam
what kind of
McKay.
collaboration that would be? My
I feel
gosh.
Adam McKay thinks he's Yorgos. I can tell. I don't know. It's like
Yes. I look. Adam McKay's contribution to Succession is great. I'm not a big fan of Adam McKay.
Could you say that?
he made Vice.
Have you seen his films?
Nope.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
no, I haven't.
Well,
I've only seen Succession.
Well, I don't.
Talladega Nights.
Oh no, I feel like, like the last decade, he's like, I'm a serious director now. And he's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
And he's doing Don't Look Up.
Well,
One of the
feel-
worst movies I've ever seen.
Well, I don't know. It's like the ego.
Yes.
You can feel the ego radiating from McKay.
I am Kubrick.
A word that gets thrown around in film circles a lot is pretentious.
Yeah.
And I think pretentious isn't like
He's very.
Yeah.
to me that's when someone feels like they're doing something, but it's not really
falling on
reflected
its face.
in with the audience response.
I think you need to
course,
you need to treat the audience with the same respect you treat yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't talk down to them. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves in
Yep.
movies is if you're like talking down to me. It's like, dude, I'm an adult.
Which is really all Adam McKay does. His
Yeah.
comedies are fine. Like Talladega Nights, that's
Yeah.
fine. Like he's in his lane.
Yeah.
But don't start trying to make films that are like
Serious.
Yeah.
Preachy.
And that have
Yeah,
subtext
uh-huh.
and that are about the current world. No.
Mason Parker is here to tell you, Mr. Adam McKay, that you are not him. So have a seat.
You are not him.
Get outta
also,
here.
shout out Ryan Reynolds. I hate you.
Mason Parker. Next.
Throw Jeremy Renner in there too.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, we had a.
He's
That's
swiping.
more- that's
he's,
more
is
Ethan.
he
That's more
swiping?
Ethan.
Is he swiping left or right? Wait, I don't know how Tinder works. Is it?
I
Is he
don't-
swiping
I've
left
never-
on Adam McKay or right?
I've never used Tinder. I don't know, but
Left is bad.
I think
Left is right. He's swiping left.
left is good, right?
And you
I'd
know
like
what? If I saw Jeremy Renner on the street as an actor,
I'm hitting him with my car.
I'm going left.
I'd like to say the whole way up on the drive up to the movie theater, we talked about Jeremy Renner like the whole way up there.
Yeah, y'all were saying some out of pocket stuff.
It wasn't. What are you talking about? It wasn't.
It was
crazy.
fully deserved.
You were saying you hope he gets run over by a snowmobile again. Y'all were saying that, bro. That's where I draw the line.
He's a Jeremy Renner apologist. Can you believe this?
No, I'm not a Renner fan.
That man is the most milk
I'm
toast human in Hollywood.
No, he's not. No,
God.
there's way worse.
I liked Hawkeye, guys. Come on, it was all
Come
right.
on, there's way worse.
Hawkeye's the worst Avenger.
No,
It was a Christmas show. I liked it.
the Hawkeye show was decent.
You know who should have
But-
been in Kindness? Dane DeHaan.
Oh, we got the poster up, dude. I
He's
actually,
a-
I
but
think I
he's
told
a-
Mason this though. He would be great in a. He would be great in a Yorgos.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He looks like it.
He's a freak.
He looks like a
would-
Yorgos
he would-
cast
he
member.
would-
He
optically,
fits
yeah.
the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Just he got the aura.
Can you get his email on IMDb Pro
When-
and like
maybe.
put that in his ear and be like,
When-
"Hey Yorgos,
when-
cast Dane DeHaan."
When
We are your biggest
When
fans, we
God
need you.
forbid Willem Dafoe leaves us, he will be the step-in. Okay, because Dafoe's like in all of Yorgos.
Dane DeHaan is going to be the head of the sex cults once we lose Willem Dafoe. So
Yes, sir. That's right.
I will rue the day that we don't have Willem Dafoe on this earth.
Yeah, God
But
forbid.
you know, when one door closes, another one opens, and you know,
And
when that door is Dane
door's named
DeHaan, I'm not complaining.
Right, that's the best way to end it.
And on that note,
Someone see us out.
go.
No, let's let Heath do it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for listening. That was Kinds of Kindness. Roll that outro music.
Yeah.